everybody, it's Mrs. Kinsman. I'm going to read a story to you today called Santa Claus is Coming to Calgary. It was a favorite of my grandchildren when they were smaller and wondered every time if he would come, and it's become a favorite of mine as well. So here we go. Santa is Coming to Calgary, written by Steve Smallman and illustrated by Robert Dunn and Alan Brown. Well, boomed Santa, have all the children from Calgary been very good this year? Well, mostly, answered the little elf as he bustled across the busy workshop to Santa's desk. Santa peered down at the elf from behind the tall, teetering piles of letters that the children of Calgary had sent him. Mostly? Asked Santa, looking over the top of his glasses. Yes, but they've all been especially good the last few days, said the elf. Jolly good, chuckled Santa. Then we'd better get those presents loaded up. And even though the stack of presents was really, really, really big, and the elves were really, really, really small, they seemed to have no trouble loading it onto Santa's sleigh. Though how they managed to fit such a big sack on one little sleigh, even they didn't know. But somehow, they did it. Splendid, boomed Santa. We're ready to go. Not quite, Santa, said the little old elf. One of our reindeer is missing. Missing? Which reindeer is missing? Asked Santa. The youngest one, Santa, said the elf. It's his first flight tonight. I've called him and I've called him, but... And just then, a young reindeer strolled up, munching on a large carrot. Where have you been? Asked Santa. The youngest reindeer was crunching so loudly that it was no wonder he hadn't heard the little old elf calling. Oh, well, never mind, said Santa, giving the reindeer a little wink. He took out his Santa nav and he tapped in the coordinates for Calgary, Alberta. This will guide us to Calgary in no time, he said. Crunch, 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 said the reindeer. And with the flick of the rein and a jerk of the harness, off they went racing through the sky. Ho, 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 laughed Santa. And well, soon, those presents will be delivered to the Stampede City. Santa's sleigh flew through the starry night, heading south across the Arctic Circle. And on they flew in the wintry air, crossing over the Northwest Territories. And in the wink of the eye, the sleigh was flying toward Alberta. The youngest reindeer was very excited. He'd never been away from the North Pole before. They were just nearing Banff National Park when suddenly they ran into a blizzard. Snowflakes whirled around the sleigh. They couldn't see a thing. The youngest reindeer was getting a bit worried, but Santa didn't seem concerned. In 2 miles, said the Santa Nav in a bossy lady's voice, keep left at the next star. But, ma'am, Santa blustered, I can't see any stars in all this snow. And soon they were hopelessly lost. Then, through the howling blizzard, the youngest reindeer heard a faint, ringing sound. Ding dong, ding dong, ding dong. He looked over at the old reindeer with the red nose, but he had his head down. Red nose. Wonder who that could be. Ding dong, ding dong, ding dong. There was that sound again, like church bells ringing. The youngest reindeer turned around. He looked at Santa, but Santa wasn't listening. He seemed to be arguing with a little box with buttons on it. And with a flick of the harness and a jerk of the reins, the youngest reindeer gave a sharp tug and headed off toward the sound of the bells, pulling Santa and his sleigh behind him. Whoa, called Santa, pulling his hat straight. What's going on? And then to his surprise, he heard a ringing sound. Well done, young reindeer, he shouted cheerfully. It must be the bells of the Cathedral Church of the Redeemer. Don't worry, children, Santa's coming. And then suddenly, crunch! The sleigh hit something as it plummeted through the snow clouds. You have arrived, said Santa's nav unhelpfully. Finally, when the snow had died down and the clouds parted, Santa discovered exactly where they were, stuck right at the very top of the Christmas tree near Calgary City Hall. Everybody pull! Well, the reindeer pulled with all their might until at last, with a screeching noise, The sleigh scraped clear of the Christmas tree, and Santa steered them safely past Olympic Plaza, around the Bow Building, over the Chinese Cultural Center, across Bow River, and down into Princess Island Park. Luckily, there was no real damage done, but the packages had all been jumbled up. Santa quickly sorted out the presents and put them into order again. "All right," said Santa. "Thanks to this young reindeer, I know where we are now, and don't you worry, children. Santa is coming." Santa drove his sleigh expertly from rooftop to rooftop all over Calgary, popping in and out of chimneys as fast as he could go, which was pretty fast for a chubby fellow. There were big chimneys in Crescent Heights and small chimneys in Varsity. He squeezed down thin chimneys in Ramsey and plummeted down fat chimneys in Haysboro. The youngest reindeer were amazed at how quickly they went. Santa never seemed to get stuck or tired at all, and it looked like all the children in Calgary were going to be very lucky this year. But the youngest reindeer was starting to feel a bit weary and quite hungry too. In house after house, Santa delved inside his sack for packages of every shape and size. He piled them under Christmas trees, and he carefully filled up stockings with surprises. And in house after house, the good children of Calgary had left out a large plate of cookies, a small glass of milk, and a big, crunchy carrot. Santa took a little bite out of each cookie, a tiny sip of milk. He wiped his beard, and he popped the carrots back into his sack. And from Lake Bonavista to Tuscany, from Wildwood to Inglewood, from Silver Springs to Southview, and all the places in between, Santa and his sleigh visited every house in Calgary. Santa delivered packages to Andrew, Allison, Anna, Arabella, Archie, Ashley, and the list went on and on, all the way down to Zach, Zara, Zeb, Zoe, Zibble. Zibble? Well, that must be a spelling mistake, surely. Finally, Santa had delivered the last present on his long Calgary list. "Great moons and stars," sighed Santa. "It's past midnight and my sack seems as heavy as ever. I hope I haven't forgotten anything." Santa popped open his sack to check, but it was full of juicy, crunchy carrots. Santa divided the carrots among all the reindeer. "Well done," he said, patting the youngest reindeer gently on the nose. But the youngest reindeer didn't hear a word he had to say. He was too busy munching. And then it was time to set off for home. Santa reset his Santa Nav once more for the North Pole, and soon they were speeding above Fort Calgary, past Nose Hill Park, and over the northern Rocky Mountains through the crisp, starry night. "Ho, ho, ho," laughed Santa. "Merry Christmas, Calgary." So I hope you enjoyed that story, and I hope you have a wonderful holiday season.